So you're planning to study abroad, right? And you've seen those two words everywhere, test optional. It makes you wonder, in 2025, do exams like the SAT or the GRE even matter anymore? Well, we're going to get to the truth.
And look, that's a totally fair question. You're scrolling through websites of your dream universities, and they keep saying test optional. You have to ask yourself, is all this prep, all this stress, just a huge waste of my time and money? It's definitely confusing.
Okay, so let's get one thing straight right off the bat, because it's the most important thing to understand. Optional does not mean irrelevant. This is probably the single biggest misunderstanding students have. Just because a university says you can apply without a score, doesn't mean you should. And here is the bottom line, the absolute truth of the matter. When you're competing against millions of applicants from all over the globe, standardized tests are still one of the most powerful tools you have to make your profile pop. They give you a serious competitive edge.
So, let's break down what that real value is. We're going to dig into exactly why these tests aren't just kind of relevant, but why they might be more important than ever, especially if you're an international student.
It really boils down to 5 key reasons. They act as a common yardstick, they have some serious scholarship power, they can be proof for your visa, they're a huge profile booster, and they can give you a massive edge when it comes to getting funding. First up, the common yardstick. Just think about it. Universities get applications from hundreds of different countries, and every single one has its own grading system. An SAT or GRE score? That gives them one clean, simple way to compare everyone fairly, on the same exact scale. Now let's talk about something we all care about, money. A great test score can be a direct ticket to merit scholarships and tuition fee waivers. Seriously, the hours you put into studying can literally save you thousands of dollars. It's not an expense, it's an investment.
And it's not just scholarships. Get this, a high score on the speaking section of your English test proves you can communicate effectively. Universities love this, and they'll often award teaching assistantships, or TAs, which can cover your entire tuition and even give you a monthly stipend to live on. That's a game changer.
Okay, so you're on board, you get that they matter. But the next big question is, which tests do you actually need? Well, it all depends on where you want to go and what you want to study.
Think of this as your cheat sheet. In the USA, even at giants like Stanford and MIT where it's optional, a great GRE score can be the tiebreaker that gets you in. Over in the UK, it's a huge plus for math-heavy programs at places like Oxford and Cambridge. And in Europe, top tech schools in Germany and Switzerland really value it for their engineering programs. And here's a number you should probably write down, 168. If you're aiming for a top-tier STEM program, a quantitative GRE score of 168 or higher is like a golden ticket. It instantly tells them you've got the skills and can push your application right to the top of the pile. All right, now for English tests. These are non-negotiable for both your university admission and your visa. But you have to pay attention because every country plays by different rules. The UK, for example, needs a special kind of test called a CELT, and Canada's popular SDS visa stream, they have a super strict list and will only accept tests that you took in person.
And that actually brings me to a massive pro tip that so many students just totally overlook. Taking a test at home seems convenient, I get it, but where you take that test can have a huge impact on how credible your score is.
I mean, the difference is pretty stark. Universities started noticing some weird score inconsistencies with at-home tests that were just monitored by AI. On the flip side, in-person tests with actual human proctors, they're trusted. They're seen as way more reliable by both admissions officers and visa officers, which means a smoother process for you. Look, you are pouring so much of your time, your money, your dreams into these applications. It's a huge investment. So why would you risk all of that on a test score that someone might look at with a little bit of suspicion? Taking an in-person test is just the safer, smarter play. All right, enough of the why. Let's get super practical and talk about when. Good planning is everything, so let's walk through a strategic timeline for your test prep.
Consider this your roadmap to success. For all you undergrads out there, start your SAT prep in grade 11. That gives you plenty of time for a first attempt and then a retake in grade 12 if you need it. For grad students, block out a solid 8 to 12 weeks for GRE or GMAT prep. And listen, this is key. Take your final exams, including the English ones, at least 2 to 3 months before your deadlines. Trust me, it'll save you so much last-minute panic.
So as we wrap this up, I want to completely reframe how you're thinking about these exams. They are not just some annoying box you have to check. They're not a hurdle trying to trip you up.
Because you have to picture this. An admissions officer has 2 applications on their desk. They're almost identical. Same grades, amazing essays. What's going to be the tiebreaker? A lot of the time, it's that strong test score. It's the one thing that can push you across the finish line.
So this is the mindset you need to adopt. These exams are not a burden. They're a springboard. They're there to sharpen your skills and launch you toward the world-class education you're dreaming of.
So I'll leave you with this question. Acing these tests isn't really about passing an exam. It's about scoring your first huge win on this incredible global journey you're about to start. Are you ready to go out there and claim it? Thanks for joining me.